The National Fire Protection Association 70, also known as the National Electrical Code, is revised every 3 years. The 2023 National Electrical Code represents the latest edition and is currently in effect. This platform primarily references the current version of the National Electrical Code. However, because the National Electrical Code establishes a minimum standard, numerous jurisdictions continue to operate under older versions. Furthermore, many electricians find themselves working with older versions of the National Electrical Code due to various circumstances. Depending on the specific location, the 2002 National Electrical Code might still be applicable for several more years. For example, the state of California still references the 2017 National Electrical Code. When working with an older version of the National Electrical Code, it is crucial to recognize the differences that exist between it and more recent editions. It may be advantageous to utilize a code reference book that incorporates the older version of the National Electrical Code. While a dedicated section for the 2002 National Electrical Code does not exist on this forum, users can still locate discussions related to the 2002 National Electrical Code by using the search function. Understanding the cyclical nature of the National Electrical Code and its adoption process is fundamental for all electrical professionals. The National Electrical Code, as mentioned, is updated every 3 years by the National Fire Protection Association. This cycle ensures that the code remains relevant and incorporates the latest technological advancements and safety practices. The process involves extensive review and input from various stakeholders including electrical engineers, contractors, inspectors, and manufacturers. These stakeholders contribute to the development of new articles, revisions to existing articles, and deletions of outdated information. Following the publication of a new edition of the National Electrical Code, individual states, cantons, and municipalities have the authority to adopt it into law. However, the adoption process is not uniform and can vary significantly across different jurisdictions. Some jurisdictions adopt the new code edition immediately upon its release, while others may take several years or even skip editions altogether. Several factors influence the adoption timeline. Firstly, the legislative process within each jurisdiction can be lengthy and complex. Secondly, budget constraints may delay the implementation of new codes, as training and enforcement require resources. Thirdly, local political considerations can also play a role in the adoption decision. Because of these variations in the adoption process, it is common for electricians to work in areas where different versions of the National Electrical Code are in effect simultaneously. This necessitates a thorough understanding of the specific code requirements for each project and location. To navigate this complex landscape, electricians should firstly stay informed about the code adoption status in their areas of operation. Local electrical boards and licensing agencies typically provide information on the current code edition in effect. Secondly, maintain access to both the current National Electrical Code and any older editions that may still be relevant. This allows for comparison and identification of differences in requirements. Thirdly, participate in continuing education courses to stay up to date on code changes and best practices. Continuing education is essential for maintaining licensure and ensuring compliance with the latest regulations. Fourthly, consult with local electrical inspectors and authorities having jurisdiction to clarify any ambiguities or uncertainties in the code requirements. Inspectors can provide valuable guidance and interpretation of the code. Fifthly, utilize online resources and forums to connect with other electrical professionals and share knowledge and experiences related to code compliance. Online communities can be a valuable source of information and support. Understanding the differences between various editions of the National Electrical Code is critical for ensuring safety and compliance. While the fundamental principles of electrical safety remain consistent, specific requirements and regulations can change significantly from one edition to the next. These changes may affect various aspects of electrical work, including wiring methods, grounding and bonding, overcurrent protection, equipment installation, and special occupancies. For instance, changes in the National Electrical Code may introduce new wiring methods or modify existing ones. These changes could involve the types of conductors permitted, the methods of installation, or the requirements for protection against physical damage. Branding and bonding requirements are also subject to change in each edition of the National Electrical Code. These changes may affect the methods of grounding equipment, the sizing of grounding conductors, or the requirements for bonding metal enclosures and raceways. Overcurrent protection, including fuses and circuit breakers, is another area where changes may occur. The National Electrical Code may modify the allowable ampacity of conductors, the interrupting rating of overcurrent devices, or the coordination requirements for selective tripping. Equipment installation requirements can also vary significantly between editions of the National Electrical Code. These changes may affect the clearances around equipment, the methods of mounting equipment, or the requirements for ventilation and cooling. Special occupancies such as healthcare facilities, hazardous locations, and data centers often have specific requirements that are updated in each edition of the National Electrical Code. These changes may reflect new technologies, evolving safety standards, or lessons learned from past incidents. To identify the specific differences between code editions, electricians should firstly obtain copies of the relevant code editions and carefully compare the text. Pay close attention to changes in wording, additions of new articles, and deletions of outdated information. Secondly, utilize code comparison charts and tables that highlight the key differences between editions. These resources can save time and effort in identifying changes. Thirdly, attend training sessions and workshops that focus on code updates and changes. These sessions provide valuable insights and explanations of the rationale behind the changes. Fourthly, consult with experienced electrical professionals who are familiar with multiple editions of the National Electrical Code. Their knowledge and experience can be invaluable in understanding the practical implications of code changes. Fifthly, utilize online resources and databases that provide access to code interpretations and rulings. These resources can help clarify the meaning of specific code requirements. When working with older versions of the National Electrical Code, it is essential to exercise caution and ensure that all work meets the minimum safety standards. Even though a particular jurisdiction may still be using an older code edition, it is always advisable to follow the most current safety practices and recommendations. This may involve incorporating newer technologies, using higher quality materials, or implementing more stringent safety procedures. In addition to the National Electrical Code, electricians should also be familiar with other relevant standards and regulations. These may include state and local electrical codes, building codes, fire codes, and occupational safety and health administration regulations. These standards and regulations may impose additional requirements that go beyond the National Electrical Code. Furthermore, electricians should be aware of any industry best practices and guidelines that are relevant to their work. These may include recommendations from professional organizations, manufacturers, or testing laboratories. By staying informed about all relevant standards, regulations, and best practices, electricians can ensure that their work is safe, compliant, and of the highest quality. Navigating the complexities of code adoption and understanding the differences between various editions of the National Electrical Code requires ongoing effort and commitment. However, by staying informed, seeking out training and resources, and consulting with experienced professionals, electricians can ensure that they are always working safely and in compliance with the latest regulations. The importance of adhering to the National Electrical Code cannot be overstated. It serves as the cornerstone of electrical safety in the United States, establishing the minimum requirements for electrical installations to protect people and property from hazards. Compliance with the National Electrical Code is not only a legal requirement in most jurisdictions, but it is also a moral and ethical obligation for all electrical professionals. The consequences of non-compliance can be severe, ranging from fines and penalties to injuries, fatalities, and property damage. Therefore, it is essential that all electrical professionals take the time to understand and adhere to the National Electrical Code. In addition to the technical aspects of the code, it is also important to understand the underlying principles and philosophy. The National Electrical Code is based on the principle of preventing electrical hazards through proper design, installation, and maintenance of electrical systems. It emphasizes the importance of grounding and bonding, overcurrent protection, and proper wiring methods. By understanding these underlying principles, electricians can make informed decisions and apply the code effectively in a variety of situations. The National Electrical Code is not intended to be a substitute for sound engineering judgment. It provides a framework for safe electrical installations, but it cannot address every possible situation. The electricians must use their knowledge, experience, and training to make sound decisions and ensure that their work meets the highest standards of safety and quality. The National Electrical Code is a living document that is constantly evolving to meet the changing needs of the electrical industry. Electricians must stay up to date on the latest changes and revisions to the code to ensure that their work is compliant and safe. The National Fire Protection Association offers a variety of resources to help electricians stay informed about the National Electrical Code. These include publications, training courses, and online resources. By taking advantage of these resources, electricians can ensure that they have the knowledge and skills necessary to work safely and effectively. The National Electrical Code is a critical component of electrical safety. By understanding and adhering to the code, electricians can help protect people and property from the hazards of electricity. It is a responsibility that should be taken seriously by all electrical professionals. Remember that changes can occur between different versions of the National Electrical Code, and it is important to understand how to search these changes for information. Firstly, familiarize yourself with the structure of the National Electrical Code. A National Electrical Code is organized into chapters, articles, and sections, each addressing specific aspects of electrical installations. Understanding this structure will help you navigate the code efficiently. Secondly, use the index to locate relevant information. The National Electrical Code includes a comprehensive index that lists all the topics covered in the code. Use the index to quickly find the sections that are relevant to your question. Thirdly, utilize the table of contents to get an overview of the code. The table of contents provides a high-level overview of the National Electrical Code. Use the table of contents to understand the scope of each chapter and article. Fourthly, search for keywords and phrases. Most electronic versions of the National Electrical Code allow you to search for specific keywords and phrases. Use this feature to quickly find the sections that contain the information you need. Fifthly, consult with experienced electrical professionals. If you are unable to find the information you need, consult with an experienced electrical professional who is familiar with the National Electrical Code. They may be able to provide guidance and interpretation. Also, consider using online forums and resources. There are many online forums and resources that provide information and support for electrical professionals. These resources can be a valuable source of information and guidance. When searching for information in the National Electrical Code, it is important to be precise and specific. Use keywords and phrases that accurately reflect the topic you are researching. For example, instead of searching for wiring, search for conductor ampacity or grounding electrode system. Also, pay attention to the context of the information you are reading. The National Electrical Code is a complex document, and it is important to understand the context of each section. Consider the specific application you are working on and the other requirements that may apply. Finally, always verify the information you find. The National Electrical Code is constantly evolving, and it is important to verify that the information you are using is up to date. Consult with the latest edition of the National Electrical Code and any relevant amendments or interpretations.